Good morning. Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Hope you're all fit and well. How was your weekend? Hope you all had a fine old time. We're going to send good, best wishes and get well soons to Peter McKenna, who I think is probably still in hospital. But get well soon, my friend. I look forward to having you back in the fold. Good morning to Mark Whiting, to Dan Cullen, to Alex Latham, and to Gary Muirhead, all of whom are currently populating the chat. Good morning to Instagram as well. The countdown is now officially underway. On Wednesday this week, we will broadcast our 800th episode of the Breakfast Show. Pretty good for a show that was supposed to last about a fortnight. Good morning to Chris Ford as well, who has just joined us. I can press a button and say good morning to him. Yes, Wednesday, 800th show. And then on Friday, I'll be signing off for just over a week, packing my bags and heading for Sin City, USA. Can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. Kind of treating it as a bit of a holiday because I'm going to be there for, we go basically Sunday to Sunday. So it's an entire 7 days. It doesn't get me back until fairly late on Monday. But I've got a 3-day exhibition. So I've got a couple of days at either side where I can actually chill out a bit, which I'm looking forward to enormously. I'm going to say good morning to Jim Turner and to Ken Hatcher, both of whom are present and correct. Chris Ford, weekend. Sunday's a good start for Monday. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? Yeah, I have to say, because I'll explain in just a moment. Been spending a lot of time messing about in the background on our Buy Me a Coffee page, but I'll come to that in just a moment. I do want to give you a very quick update, though, on our Didcot petition, which is still gaining momentum, I'm pleased to say. I was interviewed by the Oxford Mail on Friday last week, and I was on BBC Radio Oxford this morning as well. As soon as they make that recording available, I'll link you all to it. All things being equal, I'm going to be on another Oxfordshire radio channel a bit later today, and I'm due to pre-record a piece with ITV Meridian at noon today, which is why I'm wearing the T-shirt. Can you see it? Yeah, there you are. That's the Didcot. I had this T-shirt made more than 8 years ago. Thankfully, I'm back to my fighting weight now, and it still fits. But I'm glad I went for the higher grade cotton rather than a cheap and nasty version. I had no idea I'd still be wearing it 8 years later, but there we are. I absolutely am. Also reminded of the fact that every time I focus on Didcot, it just consumes hours and days of my time. I've got to be honest, I'm okay with that. It is a very important issue, probably the most important issue of my career. But in a week when I'm trying to get loads done before I head off for the best part of 10 days, my timing could have been a bit better, but the petition currently stands at just over 700 signatures. But obviously we need a whole lot more. I'm hoping that this TV and radio exposure and the bid in the Oxford Mail will help to organise that. But if you haven't already signed, please, please, please do sign it. Do keep sharing it far and wide. As I said, and go back to Chris Ford's point about Sunday being a good start to Monday, I spent most of the weekend knocking our revised Buy Me a Coffee page into shape. There's a whole load of reading over there now that you can't find anywhere else. There's a couple of my ebooks up for sale as well, and I've set up a membership area too, which will be exclusive to paying members. As soon as I have a couple of members, I will actually start producing content for it. It's a bit of a chicken and egg. There's no point in me producing content to go behind a paid firewall if there's no firewall to. You get the idea. In addition to all of that, I have a funding campaign. Yes, a funding campaign. And it's running right now. In an ideal world, I'd quite like to buy a DJI Neo drone. Before I go to Las Vegas, it would make for some good footage while I'm in Las Vegas. I could buy it. And, truth be told, I probably will buy it. But I thought, we'll throw it out to the audience and see if you would care to assist. So rather than just asking for random donations, any donations now will go towards the cost of that drone. In turn, that drone will allow me to produce some better content while I'm in Las Vegas. So you pays a little, you get something in return, if you get my meaning. So if you do have a few spare shekels, please send them my way at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news. And I can go one better than that. I even have a dedicated button on my Stream Deck for it, which is that one there. There you are. If you're looking at the chat, you should be able to see that now. So yes, without further ado, shall we get the show on the road? I'm going to post the question of the day in just a moment, which will require a different button entirely. I'll post the question of the day and I'll get this show on the road. Let me take Chris out of the way just for a moment. Back right after this. It is Monday, the 16th of September. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, the Walrus of Demolition. In today's show, we're taking a closer look at Yanmar's new baby. There's a big bang down in Louisiana. John Deere on the highways and byways, and there's no business like snow business, not show business, snow business for this very special Liebherr loader. Plus, in today's Mark's Morning Monologue, we'll be discussing, I am pressing on with that name, we will be discussing how an aging workforce might actually be a good thing. Not a bad thing, but a good thing. But the changes that we will need to put in place to make it happen. So yes, that's our morning monologue. Let's have a look. Dan Cullen is currently indulging in his porridge and vanilla. That's vanilla custard for those of you that don't know. Sun shining here. So yeah, sun's out here as well. Not warm, but it's okay. Jim Turner, places you like prefer not to revisit. Hospital. It wasn't quite what I had in mind, but while we're about it, yes, I'd rather avoid hospital as well. Spent far too much time in those of late. Well, not recently, 3 or 4 years ago. I seem to be in there all the bloody time. But there you are. I'm going to say good morning to Southern Counties tree surgeon. Just joined us over on Instagram as well. And Saul Underwood as well. We had lots of people over there. I'll come back to all of that. So, yes, Mystery Machine. Shall we have a look at that? This is one of those ones where I don't know if this is an easy one or a hard one. Not sure I'd get it, but there are smarter people in our audience. So let me show it to you. Right, just before I show you the machine, I can tell you that the scores currently on my scorecard, Dan Cullen is on 9 points. Gary Muirhead and myself are on 6 points. Because I'm going to be away, we have another 5 mystery machines to bring you before I go off. So the mystery machine for September will be decided and concluded and a prize awarded this week. So break out your magnifying glasses, put your spectacles on, and see what you make of this. There you are. Not even sure that the inventor of that machine would be able to identify it from that square there, but that's what you're working with so far. There are 3 points up for grabs, so if anybody knows what that is, love to hear from you. And ProMove Demolition, makers of some very, very fine hydraulic breakers, all the way from Italy. Just join us over on Instagram. Buongiorno. I can do stuff. Multilingual. At least I can say good morning anyway. Yes, let me take that away. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to remind you very quickly of our question of the day. Yeah, this one comes once again from our resident quizmaster, Gary Muirhead, who has very kindly provided me with enough ammunition to last me until I head off. Thank you for that, Gary. His question for today, though, is this. What is a place you have visited but which you have no desire to return to? Could be here in the UK, could be further afield. Obviously, Jim Turner has already said he'd rather not go back to hospital. I fully understand that. Here in the UK, personally, I'd be just fine if I never went back to Hull. The people are fine. The place, not so much. So yeah, I could probably go through the rest of my life never having revisited Hull, and I'd be okay with that. Overseas, Gibraltar. Absolutely hated the place. The monkeys are welcome to it. But what about you? Let us know in the chat. What is a place that you've been to that you'd prefer not to go back to? Dan Cullen, dental hospital. Okay. I think both him and Jim have kind of missed the idea of the question, but listen, I don't blame you. Now, going back to the mystery machine, we've had our first guess, which is Dan Cullen reckons it could be a Manu telehandler. It's not a Manu, and it's not a telehandler, but thank you for the guess. I'll tell you what, while it's on the screen, let me show you a bit more. There you are. Not sure if that helps or not. But keep the guesses coming in. And please let us know places you'd rather not revisit. There's another one, Jim Turner, Blackpool. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I went to a stag do in Blackpool many years ago, and not my favourite, I have to say. But I've also been to Blackpool out of season. There is no more desolate place in the UK than Blackpool out of season. I mean, literally struggled to find something to eat. I was there overnight, struggled to find something to eat because basically Blackpool closed for the winter. Yeah. So, yes, I'm in complete agreement with that, Jim. Totally agreement. So, time to crack on. Let's have a bit of this, and then I'll be back with a new baby from the fine folks at Yanmar. I'm going to show you something brand spanking new from the fine folks at Yanmar, and I would like you to decide whether you believe it to be hot or not. Now, I have to admit, I go into this already preloaded. I like Yanmar. I think Yanmar makes some fantastic machines. But do you believe this one to be hot or not?
Hi, I'm Peter Overbo, Product Management Director for Yanmar Compact Equipment North America, and I'd like to tell you about our new compact track loader in our mid-frame size class, the TL80 VS. The TL80 VS is a vertical lift compact track loader, and it has a rated operating capacity of 2,900 pounds and a lift height of just over 10 feet. It is powered by a 74 horsepower Yanmar diesel engine with a capability to travel up to 8 miles per hour and flow 34 gallons per minute through its auxiliary circuit. The Yanmar TL80 VS provides the performance of a larger compact track loader, but in a smaller, less complex package. The TL80 VS features a premium steel-embedded bar tread track running on a suspended undercarriage. It features a 60-inch long and a 15.7-inch wide track that exerts about 5 psi of ground pressure. The loader can come as an optional open ROP station or with an optional all-weather enclosed cab with heating and cooling. For additional protection, the swing-out door can come with half-inch thick poly instead of glass. The cab structure is ROPS compliant and has a level 1 FOPS rating with an optional cab having a FOPS level rating of 2. The enclosed cab seals tightly and is pressurized to help keep out dust and debris. The loader has 2 forward and 2 rear-facing LED lights with optional LED side lights and a rotating beacon. Entering and exiting the loader is both safe and convenient thanks to our low step-in and broad foot area. For operator protection, a side pivoting lap bar and a seat belt are employed to secure the operator in the seat. The loader can also be equipped with either an optional 3-inch wide seat belt or a 3-point seat belt. Industry-leading cab visibility allows for nearly 360 degrees of visibility, and increased visibility is added with an optional backup camera. Inside the cab is a 7-inch color touchscreen display for easy and intuitive monitoring of the loader. The loader comes standard with a mechanical suspended seat with the option to get an air ride suspended seat. 2 joystick controls inside the cab allow for direction and speed as well as loader functions and auxiliary functions, with the option to customize the pilot controls. In case of an emergency, the loader is equipped with several features to be able to safely exit the enclosed cab, such as the loader arm relief valve, an industry-exclusive emergency roof hatch, and a glass breaker. At the back of the loader, accessibility to conduct routine and scheduled maintenance is a breeze with toolless swing-out doors. Also incorporated into the rear is a protected location for an optional backup camera. Behind the rear door is the 74 horsepower Tier 4 final Yanmar diesel engine that has proven reliability and performance, and better yet, does not require diesel exhaust fluid. Under the loader, the belly pans are bolted on in 4 separate pieces to allow for easier removal when needing to clean or perform service work on the loader. The loader is a box frame design with an integrated foot pad that provides rigidity to the lift arms. At the back, the pivot point is placed up higher to help promote visibility from the operator station. The loader comes standard with a mechanical quick detach mounting plate or an optional hydraulic quick connect attachment mounting plate that utilizes 2 hydraulic cylinders for increased reliability. The loader can also be equipped with self-leveling and return to position settings that can be controlled from the operator station. For attachments requiring auxiliary hydraulics, the machine provides 24 gallons per minute of flow at 3,480 psi. An optional high flow option can be ordered with the ability to reach flows of 34 gallons per minute. Like all Yanmar CTLs, the TL80VS is backed by a 2-year, 2,000-hour warranty to build on the quality and durability our customers have come to expect from Yanmar. Thanks for checking out the new TL80VS. If you would like to learn more, check it out at yanmarce.com or visit your local Yanmar dealer.
Places you'd rather not revisit. The centre of London, it's full of foreigners. Okay. Go back to our mystery machine. I've had several guesses on this. Gary Muirhead first said a Red Rock telehandler and then was more specific with the Red Rock TH350 telehandler. It's not a Red Rock. It's not even a telehandler. Jim Turner on the Yanmar machine reckons that the roof hatch is a good idea. Dan Cullen reckons that our mystery machine could be a Schaefer compact loading shovel. It is none of those things. Dan also reckons it could be a Finley crusher. It's not. Let me show you a bit more, just to give you a bit of a clue. Yes, that looks a bit buckety on the end there. Dan Cullen going back to the Yanmar. That's a hot little loader. He says, good morning to Garvin over on Instagram. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Let me take all of that away. I'll come back to that in just a moment, but we need to press on because I've got a big bang to show you in a minute.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Yeah. Louisiana, New Orleans, all that part of the world tends to get hit with hurricanes on a fairly regular basis. Obviously, I think most of us will remember Hurricane Katrina, but there was a more recent one that caused enormous damage to the Capital One building in Louisiana. So much damage, in fact, that the only option was to bring it down. And this is how they did it. Yeah, massive congratulations to Lloyd D. Neighbours over in the States for a job well done. Fantastic work. Going back to our mystery machine, mostly diggers. Garvin reckons it could be a ditch witch tracked multi-tool loader thingy. Glad you've got your finger on the pulse on the naming conventions of these machines. I'm going to show it to you because I can tell you we don't have a right answer, but we do have one that's very close. Dan Cullen reckons it could be a Toro TX 1000. It is not, but you're on the right path. Dan also reckons that was a perfect blast. I'm inclined to agree with you, Dan. Let me show you a bit more, give you a bit more of a clue. There you are. That's the mystery machine. There's a bit of track there. Elevated sprocket design. Does that help? Does that help at all? Possibly not. Keep the guesses coming. I'll be back to you just a moment. starting to think that the reason I love John Deere is you always like the things that you can't have, right? Yeah. Well, we've got another John Deere film for you now, featuring one of their customers on the highways and byways of the grand old US of A. Here we go.
I love going to a project and just when the wheels are in motion, it just puts a smile on your face because we accomplished a lot in a short amount of time.
Josh Davis is a great boss. He's a great businessman. We've built something from a small company to one of the largest in the Northwest, and super proud of it. He takes a lot of pride in the work that we do.
We spend a lot of our time trying to figure out how to make it a better work environment for the employees.
It's difficult to find people that want to go out and work doing that physical job and working out in the elements of the weather.
The biggest challenge with construction right now is to stay up with the current times.
The technology that these operators have now, it's incredible. Now this new equipment, it's all built inside, it's integrated inside the machine.
It's a new age of technology that's out there. Everything's technology driven. Take the 210 excavator, the smart grade. The kid that's sitting in it is 23 years old, and he picked it up in 20 minutes.
This project's pretty unique because of what we call sliver cuts and fills, which means we're doing excavations or embankments in really tight, narrow areas. To help achieve that in a timely manner, they provided us the 210 smart grade excavator.
210 John Deere's have always been a great machine. Run behind pipe crews up here and grade crews. They've been an all-around great machine.
They're good machines. We've got a lot of 210s.
It's a great piece of equipment with the smart grade system on it because it just eliminated one of our laborers having to run quality control on depth and everything.
Essentially, we're doing the job that would typically take 2 people at a minimum with 1 person and 1 machine. It's increased the production, and really it's kind of key to this project. And I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to be keeping the 210.
Couple of interesting points on that. They were talking about the fact that technology, because they've got a 23-year-old operator, which is good stuff. But I wonder, and that's kind of the theme for this morning's morning monologue, about the fact that we're not getting enough young people in. So how do we go about keeping the older people in the industry? I'll come back to all of that. I can tell you that Dan Cullen is getting increasingly close with our mystery machine. He has gone for the Toro Dingo TX 700. It's not, but you're close. The TX 427. It's not, but you're close. The TX 26. It's not, but you're close. You're in the very much the right ballpark, Dan. You've got the right make, just need the right model. There's a bit more of it to be going on with. I'm going to be back in just a moment. Something to make you chill out a bit. You'll see.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
When I land in Las Vegas, assuming that the weather forecast is absolutely correct, it will be 35 degrees. Scorchio, which means that when I come back at the end of tail end of September, I will be freezing. So in preparation for that, I thought I'd show you something to get you in the mood. Can't help feeling we're due a winter a bit like that. It's been a while since we've had a bad one, I think. Another beast from the east, maybe. I can tell you, we do have a winner on our mystery machine. That's what we've been looking at, but here is Dan Cullen, who goes into an even bigger lead than he started the day with. There you are. He says it's the Toro TX 1300, and man alive, he's absolutely spot on, because that is what it looks like. It is the Toro Dingo TX 1300. Well spotted, Dan. Congratulations. Your 3 points are on my little bit of paper here. You are now on 12 points, and both myself and Gary Muirhead are on 6. So unless I can cook the books or something, could well be the prize going to Dan Cullen. Possibly, yes, quite definitely, for the second month in a row. So well done, Dan. Keep up the good work. I'm going to roll the end of show stinger in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the morning monologue. If you can't stick around for that, then please do stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And I hope to see you again very soon. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll be back with my morning monologue immediately after this little thing here. The demolition and construction industries have long stood as pillars of progress, development and modernisation. From towering skyscrapers to vital infrastructure projects, the work done by construction professionals is essential to the functioning and growth of society. Yet despite the industry's critical role, a long-standing crisis has cast a shadow over its future. And that crisis is the workforce shortage. For years now, the construction industry has struggled to attract enough young people to its ranks. Whether it's the physical demands, the perception of instability, or a cultural shift towards white-collar careers, young talent is increasingly shying away from careers in construction and demolition. This generational gap leaves the industry with an aging workforce. Veterans who have dedicated decades to their craft but who now find themselves potentially delaying retirement due to the demand for experienced workers. As more construction veterans remain on the job well past the traditional retirement age, the industry faces a number of key challenges. What impact will delayed retirement have on the industry? How must demolition and construction equipment evolve to accommodate older workers? And perhaps most critically, how will companies account for the physical toll that age inevitably takes, ensuring safety and productivity remains at the forefront? The construction workforce is getting older. As younger generations gravitate towards less physically demanding professions, the pool of available workers with hands-on experience continues to shrink. According to recent data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median age of construction workers over there is steadily rising, with many industry veterans now working into their 50s, 60s, and even beyond. While these veterans bring invaluable knowledge and skills to the job site, the reality is that many are delaying retirement not out of choice, but necessity. Contractors, construction firms, and demolition crews rely on experienced workers to fill labour gaps left by the lack of younger recruits. This situation presents a unique dilemma. On the one hand, the industry can benefit from the wisdom, experience, and problem-solving abilities that seasoned workers possess. On the other, physical labour is unforgiving to ageing bodies, and the risks of injury, illness, and burnout increase significantly as workers age. The construction and demolition industries have always been dependent on heavy machinery, but the design of these machines may need to evolve to better suit an ageing workforce. Delayed retirement also means that companies must consider how to make equipment more accessible, intuitive, and comfortable for older workers who may not be as agile as perhaps they once were. A key area where equipment will need to adapt is its ease of use. Machines like excavators, dozers, loaders often require operators to climb in and out multiple times a day. For older workers, especially those dealing with age-related conditions such as arthritis or reduced mobility, this can be a significant challenge. As workers age, they may experience difficulty with flexibility, balance, and overall strength, making everyday tasks that bit more strenuous. One solution is for equipment manufacturers to focus on designing machines that minimize physical strain. This could be lower entry points, wider steps, or ergonomic handrails to help operators enter and exit more easily. Hydraulic or electric Hydraulic or electric assist systems can also be implemented to reduce the need for physical exertion when accessing high platforms or machinery cabs. By focusing on reducing the physical demands placed on older workers, manufacturers could help mitigate the impact of delayed retirement on worker health. Another area for consideration is the integration of technology in construction equipment. Over the past decade or more, machines have become increasingly sophisticated, featuring advanced GPS systems, automated controls, and telematics. While younger workers may embrace these technological advancements, older workers who may not have grown up with such systems could find them intimidating or difficult to learn. For industry veterans, the priority is often getting the job done quickly and efficiently, rather than navigating complex software. If the industry increasingly relies on aging workers, construction equipment might need to feature less technology or offer simplified, intuitive interfaces. Alternatively, companies could invest in comprehensive training programs tailored to older workers, ensuring they feel comfortable and confident using new technology. Construction equipment workers spend long hours in equipment cabs, and for older workers, discomfort can lead quickly to fatigue and possibly even injury. Age-specific issues such as back pain, joint discomfort, and reduced dexterity make it essential for equipment manufacturers to prioritize ergonomics in their designs. Machines with adjustable seats, better lumbar support, and customizable control layouts could go a long way in accommodating an older workforce. Improved air conditioning systems, soundproofing, and vibration dampening technology would also help reduce the physical toll of long shifts, allowing workers to remain productive and in the seat without sacrificing their health. One of the most pressing issues in delaying retirement, however, is the impact of age-related health problems. While younger workers may recover quickly from a minor injury or the physical strain of the job, older workers are more susceptible to long-term injuries and chronic conditions. Construction and demolition work is inherently dangerous, with heavy lifting, climbing, and exposure to hazards being daily realities. As workers age, they are more likely to experience conditions such as arthritis, cardiovascular issues, or respiratory problems, all of which can affect their ability to perform physically demanding tasks. The risk of injury increases significantly with age. Older workers may have slower reaction times, decreased strength, less stamina, making them more vulnerable to accidents. A minor slip or a fall that a younger worker could easily recover from might have far more serious consequences for an older employee. This poses a challenge for construction firms, which must balance the need for experienced workers with the potential liability of age-related injuries. To address these concerns, companies need to prioritize safety and adopt work processes to reduce the risk of injury for older workers. This could involve providing additional safety equipment, offering more frequent breaks, and adjusting job roles to match workers' physical capabilities. For example, older employees might transition to supervisory or mentorship roles where they can share their experience and expertise without being exposed to the physical risks of on-site labour. Another way to support an aging workforce is through a more proactive health monitoring system. Regular checkups, physical assessments, and wellness programs can help identify potential health issues before they become a serious problem. By offering personalised health plans, construction firms can work with older employees to manage chronic conditions and ensure they remain fit for work. In addition, providing access to on-site physical therapy or fitness programs could help mitigate the physical strain of the job, allowing workers to maintain their strength, flexibility, and stamina as they age. By investing in the health of older employees, companies can not only extend their working years, but also reduce their absenteeism and improve overall productivity. As the industry confronts the reality of an aging workforce, there may also be a broader shift in the types of jobs available. Automation and robotics are increasingly playing a role in construction and demolition, and these technologies have the potential to take over many of the physically demanding tasks that are currently performed by humans. For example, demolition robots equipped with advanced sensors and AI can already handle tasks that would be dangerous or exhausting for workers. As these technologies continue to evolve, they could help reduce the physical burden on older workers, allowing them to focus on tasks that require their expertise rather than their physical strength. The shift toward automation could also open up new opportunities for older workers in training and supervisory roles. With their years of experience, industry veterans are well suited to oversee the operation of advanced machinery, train younger workers, and provide guidance on project management. By shifting the focus from manual labour to knowledge-based tasks, companies can continue to benefit from the expertise of older workers without compromising their health or their safety. Delayed retirement in the demolition and construction industries is both a challenge and an opportunity. While the lack of young workers entering the field is concerning, the industry's reliance on older, experienced professionals offers a wealth of experience and knowledge that is invaluable. However, to ensure that this reliance doesn't come at the cost of worker health and safety, the industry must adapt. Construction equipment will need to be more accessible, less complex, and more comfortable for older workers. Job roles may need to evolve to focus on knowledge and supervision rather than physical labour. And most importantly, the industry must invest in the health and well-being of its ageing workforce, recognising that the future of construction needs to be sustainable for the environment and sustainable for the workforce. There's my thought for the day. Quite a long thought for the day. I do apologise for dragging on with that. Let's have a look. What do we got? Dan Cullen is basking in his glory. It keeps me on my toes, he says. Now, let's have a look. And there it is. The defining answer, work for less wages. Oh, that's going back to the John Deere thing, I think. That's one thing. One of the ideas I'm trying to push to JCB, but without any luck. Jim, I am up at JCB roughly this time next month, I think. Roughly. I will have a word. Dan Cullen says, I don't know how I got to Tyrone, never seen one. They've been at Plantworks, I think. Dan Cullen also says, well said, Mark, we're not managing to get new people into construction as there is no dedication by companies to help. I think we've got two choices. Plain and simple, we have two choices here. I think we're at the point now where we probably need to accept the fact that young people don't see demolition and construction as a viable career path. There will always be those that leave school without their qualifications, leave college without the necessary qualifications, and have no other option but to join the industry. We'll always have a flow of those. But I think our ability to attract smarter people that can actually drive this industry forward, I think we've proven over 30 plus years that we are really, really, really piss poor at that, which I think leaves us with two options. We either basically embrace autonomous machines, remote control, telematics, AI, or we encourage our older operatives, our older staff to stick around for a wee bit longer and bend the industry around them rather than bending them around the industry, bend the industry around them. I wrote that, and I wrote that because you heard it. One of the things that struck me about that was this ability to get in and out of machines. You know, we do have, I mean, at the extremes, we've got our mate Footy with his paddling pool or swimming pool ladder that he uses to get in and out of his cab. But we have hydraulic and electro-hydraulic systems where you can put a wheelchair if necessary, but you can also put a person in there to lift them up to the machine. Why are those not more widely available? Or just offered as an option? Won't be necessary on every machine, I grant you, but you know, if you have got an older workforce, there you are. Mick says, and this is an important point, and this I think goes back to this notion of bending the industry around the workforce rather than bending the workforce around the industry. Morning, Mick. He says, got to be honest, Mark, do you really think us older boys really want to pay out for new cars to do the job we've done for years and for bodies to make money out of us where they didn't give a fuck about us in the first place? Somebody needs to wake up and smell the coffee. The employment within the demolition and construction industry is and always has been a funnel. You put a lot of people in the top and people fall out of the bottom. Either they grow disenchanted with the industry, they get a better offer from elsewhere, or they're injured, they're ill, or they're too old. You will always have that trickle through of people falling out of the bottom. The issue is that somewhere along the line, somebody decided to cut a lump off of that bottom end of the funnel so that people are now falling out faster. And one of those areas where they've cut off the bottom of the funnel is precisely that. We are sat here today with a major deficit, a shortfall in the number of people we've got coming into the industry. And out of sheer stupidity, greed, naivety, those behind this notion of grandfather rights have decided, well, we're not getting enough young people in the industry, but while we're not getting those in, how about we make it really, really fucking difficult for the older people to stay here? You know, we've covered this since it was made public. I don't know how it's even still a discussion. You know, we've had subsequent governments pointing to the shortfall in construction employment. We've now got the Labour Party saying that we need 1.5 million houses, new houses in the next 5 years or whatever it is. The Construction Industry Training Board, who ultimately are the arbiters of all things training-wise here in the industry, they've said that we need 280,000 additional workers, and yet they are Construction Leadership Council, Build UK, Uncle Tom Cobley and all are standing by while we're doing away with grandfather rights and potentially, and I don't believe potentially, I mean actually, sending experienced workers into retirement or into alternative employment before they need to. You know, and it's all completely arbitrary. It's not a case of, you know, that we originally decided that, you know, grandfather rights would expire after 30, 40 years when that generation would have fallen off. No. This is nothing but a money-making exercise. And it potentially could kill the demolition and construction industry. You know, we have a shortfall now. Come December, I think it's December, I can't actually remember. Come December, we're doing away with grandfather rights. It would serve the industry leaders right if they woke up the day after those grandfather rights went away and found that their workforce was half gone. You know, arriving at some, why is nothing happening? Everyone's fucked off. You've made it impossible for them to continue. You know, you've had plenty of time. And one of the frustrations of doing this show is, you know, obviously we're speaking to people that are at the sharp end of this, and I speak about it every day. But this has been a known subject for a couple of years now. And the industry, the wider industry, not the leaders of it, but the wider industry have done nothing to fight it. Exactly the same as they did with the, you know, potential loss or the ultimate loss of red diesel. We grimble into our beards and that could be a bit of a problem. Where's the protest? Where's the fight? Where's the outrage? Where is the calling upon government, calling upon the training organisations? You do realise what you're doing, dear. You do realise that insisting that an older person requires an MVQ to prove that they can do the job that they're doing right now. At this moment in time, there is somebody wiggling levers about on a demolition or construction site that at some point in the next few months is going to have to sit an MVQ to prove that he can, as my children would say, WTF. June Turner, going back to when I can get it to play, when I can get there. Thanks, Mark. They're down hard people to get to talk to. It would be very much appreciated. I would definitely have a word with the fine folks at JCB while I am there. The worst thing they've done was to take away grandfather rights. I'll be buggered if I'm going to do an MVQ. And listen, Mick is already past our retirement age. However, you know, he's still, well, up until fairly recently, he was still keeping his hand in. You know, all of that experience, 40, 50 years experience in the industry, all of that because somebody decided, well, we need an NVQ. but based on nothing. Based on nothing. And the crazy thing with it is, was the industry calling for that? Was the industry saying, our training isn't quite as good as it could be, but if we upskill to NVQ level, it will make things better? Nope. No, it was just foisted upon us. And I guarantee when we get the NVQ, and we will have a cut-off point, when we get the NVQ fully instigated, which is either the end of this year or beginning of next, do you honestly think that we will see an equal and opposite downturn in the number of accidents on our sites? If moving to an MVQ meant that all accidents and fatalities were eradicated from demolition and construction sites, sign me up. Never mind what Mick says. He's talking out the back of his head. He's just an old fart whinging. But it won't do that. It will not do that. It will make no difference whatsoever. All it means is that they've currently got a green bit of plastic, and now they're going to have a purple one, or whatever it might be. The industry leaders are as useful as a duck in concrete. I have never, ever heard that expression before, but I do like it. I'm more of a fan of they're about as much use as a chocolate fire guard or a chocolate teapot. Take your pick. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I'm not going to single out the NFTC. I'm not. Back in the day, trade organizations, trade associations, trade bodies, whatever you want to call them, back in the day, they had a couple of tasks. One of the tasks was to gather the industry together to, fight common foes and that kind of thing. Another part of their job was to disseminate information. So, I'll use the NFTC in this example. When the Health and Safety Executive issued a new guidance or new regulations, or the Environment Agency did likewise, they would take that information, it would be received to the NFTC and then sent out to their members. So they were vital in disseminating information. The other thing that they used to do was to lobby on behalf of their members and the wider industry. So, if we've got a situation at the moment where people are talking about possibly pushing demolition to the very periphery of acceptability because we want to retrofit and refit everything else. There was a time when the NFDC or the IDE or possibly both would have gone to a tame MP and said, this is going to kill our industry and here's why it's bad. They don't do that bit anymore. They don't do the dissemination of information because everybody's got Google and they've all got email and everything else. So the HSE and the Environment Agency now communicate directly with the contractors. So what do they actually do? And I realise the NFTC have just come back from their trip to Rome and stuff. But here is a situation where, through no fault of their own, we are now required to update or upgrade a whole bunch, and I do mean a big bunch. We're talking tens of thousands of people here, from their current card scheme into an MVQ scheme. And as a result of that, some will look at it, much as Mick has just said, some will look at it and go, do you know what? I've already had enough. I'm going to go. I'm going to head off. I'm going to flip burgers, or I'm going to deliver Uber Eats or whatever it might be. I know my way around a local area, and it's not that dangerous. And rather than gathering their membership around and saying, guys, this is an issue, let's fight this together. Let's consult with our tame MPs. Let's, berate the government. Let's berate the training organisations. Nothing. Silence. Complete and utter silence. They are leading the industry to the edge of a precipice. And they seem to be doing it willingly is the wrong word, but they're certainly not putting up much of a fight. They really aren't. Wasn't the industry, it was these money-hungry cars doing all this and the expenses of getting those cars? Yeah, Yeah, and here it is. Okay, now, Dan, I'm glad you said that. I hope you don't do this, but anybody that watches this show will know Dan is not just a digger driver; he lives for this stuff. Hence the reason he keeps winning the Mystery Machine on a day-to-day basis. He takes time off, unpaid, to attend exhibitions because he loves this industry. He has started his own WhatsApp groups to try and get people into employment because he loves this industry. He takes an active role on this show because he loves this industry. And thanks to the imposition of the MVQ system and the loss of grandfather rights, he says that, I feel after I get my cards, it will be the last. This is becoming a joke. Now, if you can do that, if your actions are causing people like Dan, who, as I say, I will reiterate, is a lover of the industry, a passionate lover of the industry, if you're doing that to him, what are you doing to those people that, I've started to eye retirement anyway. I was planning to do it in, 2028, 2029. Yeah, I think I'll go early. Go and do a part-time job for a little while just to keep the money coming in. But that's me done. And so many people are likely to do that. And the industry will only, much the same as red diesel, they will only realise the cost, financial and otherwise, when it's too late, when it's happened. And they look around and think, well, not only have we got no young people, but we've lost a load of older people. So we've now got a double whammy. If we do manage by some miracle to attract young people, there will be nobody there to mentor them, nobody there to show them the ropes, nobody there to show them the ways that sites operate. We will have lost a generation, or at least part of a generation, and we're standing by and allowing it to happen. Mick says the MVQ is basically a government way of keeping track on the working people. They will say, look, we have 5 million people with MVQ certificates. We are an educated nation. But as you said, they experienced workers are no longer on the sites. The course has been put together by a pen pusher with no effing idea of working on a site. Yeah. To reiterate, if Dan did a requalification for a card last week, I think it was. Come to that in a sec. If I thought that gaining an MVQ would make sites safer and more productive, not only would I support the switch to the MVQ, I would advertise it freely, because ultimately I'd like to see less people maimed, injured and killed on demolition and construction sites. But going back to Dan went and did a retest on one of his cards. He passed, no great surprise. He's an experienced operator. But Dan, allow me to ask you this. On the day before you updated your card, were you a worse operator than the day after when you'd actually got your new card? Did that new card bless you with additional skills and capabilities? Were you was there some miracle that happened? They handed you your new bit of plastic and you just went, oh, I am rejuvenated. I am so much better than I was before. Or are you, as I expect, precisely the bleeding same as you were before, only you're now holding a different bit of plastic? You need to look at what MVQ stands for. National Vocation Qualification. Yeah. Jim Turner says this has already been happening for the last 25 years, but recently it's gone up a gear or two. And as a species, we learn from the generation before, and that is just isn't getting the chance to happen nowadays. No, it isn't. It isn't. And that was one of the drivers for that monologue that I did a few minutes ago. I don't think getting people to stick around in the industry is any bad thing. In fact, I think there's a lot to be said for it. Yes, we would need to adjust a few things and maybe more regular breaks and regular health checks and all that sort of thing. But I think it's a good thing because you've got no learning curve. In fact, the learning curve happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years before. So the person that you're taking on, they might be in their 60s. They might be a bit slower across the site, but man alive, they make up for it in what they know. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But this MVQ and the switch to, or the loss of grandfather rights has the potential to basically block that source of employment. Madness. And just to confirm, Dan Cullen says, it done sweet F all to my capabilities. I'm same as I was. Carl will never change me for who and what I can do. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It will, you know, those people that do choose to stick around, however long they've been doing the job, that end up with an MVQ and a card to prove it, will not be any better or worse or different than they were before they had that MVQ. It will have made zero difference. The only difference it would have made is it will have swollen the coffers of the training organisations. It will make the government feel slightly warm and fuzzy about themselves because they've got a national standard, and it will force a lot of people into premature retirement. Will it make any difference to skills on site? No. Will it make a difference to deaths and accidents? No. Will it make the industry more productive? No. Will it make the industry better? No. Make no difference at all. There you are. That is an hour of your time. I need to go and get ready because I'm going to be on the telly in a minute, which is why I've broken out the 8-year-old T-shirt. Thankfully, it hasn't faded too much, so I should be sat there like this. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. It's the countdown. Tomorrow is show number 799, which obviously means Wednesday will be show number 800. I should probably mention it and then move on because 800 doesn't really matter that much. But don't forget, this week is my last for 10 days or thereabouts. I leave for America on Sunday. And I don't get back to the UK until Monday, but I won't be back in time to do this show. So the plan, jet lag allowing, is that jet lag and possible civil war in America. Maybe I'll go and eat some dogs or cats or something while I'm there. I'm not going to Ohio, but hey, you know, it might spread. So yes, I will be back here on Tuesday next week. Chris Ford says, anything special for number 800? No, not really. Not really. It's one of those numbers. I thought, you know, when we passed 100, that was a big deal. I think when we passed 500, that was a big deal, and we had a bit of a rebranding and a restyling and everything else. By 800, it's kind of just another job, really, isn't it? Mick says, beware of men poking rifles out of the bushes, mate. Not too many bushes in Las Vegas, thankfully. I should be able to see them coming. Dan Cullen says, have a great day, guys. Jim Turner says, operating the machine properly is only about 20% of the job. The other 80% is about proficiency, which, as we know, our older workers have in abundance, and we are pushing them out of the industry like the sensible folks that we are. So yes, go back to Chris's point very quickly. Anything special? No, there's not. There was a bit of me that was thinking about actually coinciding our 800th show with launching our Buy Me a Coffee page. But if I'm to have any hope of getting my drone before I leave for the States, I kind of needed to do a bit earlier. And I wanted it to be up and running while I was away, because some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing in the States, I'm going to actually bring it back and put it into the members area. So if you want to see that stuff, it will only be there, and frankly enough to pay for it. Dan Cullen says, amazing how you got this far. Keep up the good work, Mark. Stay safe. I will certainly try. Stay safe, fellas. Wonder how many of us will be about when it's 1,000 shows. Just a thought. Well, let me put it like this. If I'm not about, obviously we won't make it that far. But 1,000 shows is about, give or take, a year away. So sometime around about autumn next year, 2025, we will hit 1,000. We're doing somewhere between 200 and 220 shows a year. So long as we maintain that average, yeah, we will hit 1,000 shows around about autumn next year, late summer, early autumn. I'd like to think we'll all be there. Make sure you stay safe, people. And Dan, don't leave the industry just because of the MVQ. I need you to prop up the mystery machine. Anyway, everybody go and have a fantastic day, and I shall see you on the morrow for show number 799. Till then, have a good one.